Puff Daddy, whoever, none of these niggas, all you fake hard niggas, fuck you. Hold on. Okay. All you fake hard niggas, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck because you can't shoot nobody anyway, and the reason why you got talk is because you did a deal, you
All right, let me fill y'all in on the piping hot goss surrounding Diddy lately. This tea is so scalding, you might need to grab a cold drink. That feisty political commentator chick Candace Owens is really going in on the Bad Boy Records boss. Sis has some seriously wild stories to share about Puffy, and she's not holding back at all.
First off, Kanye was behind that, but he's an artist, and there's a point that he's always making it with. You don't think he did this to troll. Like, it's just, that seems very beneath him. I'm just doing this to troll.
I don't know. Dame Dash is a guy.
So get this. According to Candace, the reason Mr. Combs has managed to dodge major troubles for his alleged crimes over the decades is because he's been a sneaky little informant for the FBI this whole time. I know. I gasped too when I first heard it. She went on Twitter ranting about how people clowned on Kanye for trying to expose Diddy as a rat, but it turns out Ye was onto something huge. Candace straight up quoted one of Kanye's unhinged rants where he's yelling about how Diddy, Meek Mill, and all these other rappers act all tough, but they're really just some fakes who can't back it up. The reason they always running their mouths, according to Ye, is because they cut shady deals with the feds to be informants in exchange for staying out of jail. I mean, those are some serious allegations to be throwing around.
You gotta come at me, because part of the deal for you to be able to do all that and get out of jail is that you promise that you're gonna go pull my co-car. So y'all niggas shut the
But wait, it gets even messier from there. Candace doubled down saying Kanye was right to leak those text messages he got from Diddy himself. Does anybody else remember that Wild Drink Champs episode from a couple years ago that basically outed Diddy as a federal informant covering up his dirty dealings? That clip went viral for a hot minute before getting mysteriously scrubbed from the internet. I wonder who could have had that removed. Well, in case you missed it, Kanye made sure to screenshot and release his conversation with Diddy where he's straight up calling him a rat working for the feds to hide his illegal activities. And according to Miss Candace, she 100% thinks Ye was spitting facts with those claims about Puffy being an informant. But that's not even the wildest part. Candace went on to say that Kanye has been naming all sorts of big-name celebrities who are apparently Diddy's accomplices in his alleged illegal activities. She implied that the list of his famous partners in crime is so stacked that it'll blow your mind if you hear the names.
If Harley was part of intelligence, right, what kind of people you think are surrounding my kids? What kind of people you think are in that house?
Now, I don't know about y'all, but that sure caught my interest. I need the full piping hot goss on who else could potentially be wrapped up in Diddy's messy situations. Is it those entertainers he's always hanging around like Bey and Jay? Or maybe some of his bad boy artists back in the day? Heck, it could even be some random actors or athletes we'd never expect. Leave it to Kanye to stir up all kinds of trouble by putting everybody on blast. Speaking of Mr. West, Candace claimed the reason he got basically exiled and canceled from the entertainment industry is because he's never been afraid to call out people's dirty dealings and criminal activities. The powers that be apparently saw him as a threat for exposing their shady agendas, so they did everything to shut him up and paint him as some ranting lunatic saying anything for attention.
Yes, Corey CIA. Like, he didn't even got to say it. I know it.
But now that all this piping hot tea about Diddy is spilling left and right, it's making Ye's outrageous claims seem way more legit. Candace says everything Kanye has ranted about in the past is starting to make total sense now that we're getting glimpses into Diddy's shady world. Yikes.
Fine. They ain't giving us money, they giving us acknowledgement. I don't want your acknowledgement. And I went so far past any level of acknowledgement. I was banished, I was exiled, I was canceled multiple times. So what, I done had like my kids that show up to Sunday service right in front of everybody. And you know what I mean? Like I'm crying to see my daughter and all of the usual suspects, the handlers, Dave Chappelle, Meek Mills, Diddy, all these people aren't in position. Now for us as celebrities, they got to call and put a leash on them. What we gonna do with Ye? Oh, he delusional, that's the best. Dave, give him a call. Diddy, give him a call. Tell him we ain't like the t-shirt. Tell him like right now the agenda is this is the voting agenda for the celebrities, for the black. Make them do exactly what LeBron would do. Make them do exactly what Drake would do. And y'all know
Now this is where things take an even crazier turn. Apparently this whole Diddy situation has ties to the mysterious passing of the one and only Michael Jackson. I barely even know where to start with this one, but strap in because it's about to get wild. So there's this journalist guy named Ian Carroll who has been digging deep into these Diddy allegations. From what he's uncovered, the same shady security dude who allegedly helped cover up a shooting involving Diddy and his son was also conveniently on the scene when MJ passed away. I mean, talk about being in the wrong place at the wrong time twice. Seems a little too coincidental if you ask me.
So this new lawsuit just came out that shows tons of evidence that P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, has been running a sexual blackmail operation very much like Jeffrey Epstein, but in the rap and music industry for basically 30 years. And in that lawsuit, we learned that his head of security while he's running the sexual blackmail ring is this guy named Fahim Muhammad, who before working for Diddy was the head of security for Michael Jackson when he was only 21. And he was one of the first people on the scene when Michael Jackson.
According to Carroll, Muhammad allegedly spoke with the LAPD after this G person got shot at a recording studio that Diddy and his son were at. The story was that the shooting happened outside, but Carroll says there was literally blood in the restroom that the cops saw. Somehow Muhammad used his police connections to sweep that messy situation under the rug. But here's where things get even crazier. This same Fahim guy who helped do damage control for Diddy also just so happened to be Michael Jackson's head of security before that. He was one of the first on the scene when the King of Pop tragically passed away.
Many people thought that Michael was murdered.
I don't know about y'all, but I'm starting to smell something fishy here. What are the odds that the same shady security dude winds up being involved with two of the biggest cover-up situations in entertainment history? Unless he was somehow responsible for making those situations happen in the first place? I'm just speculating here, but stranger things have happened in Hollywood. Now, Candace has been very vocal in the past about having her own suspicions surrounding MJ's death. She's claimed multiple times that she knows industry folks who genuinely believe Michael was killed. I never really bought into those conspiracy theories before, but with this new Fahim connection, I'm definitely side-eyeing the whole thing way harder now. Just to add even more fuel to the fire, Owens also brought up how Michael had secretly kept a revenge list of people in the industry that he felt were trying to ruin his life and career. The list was apparently filled with a bunch of big-name Jewish executives, lawyers, and businessmen that MJ thought were colluding against him. Could Diddy have been one of the names on that shady list too?
Without a doubt, Michael Jackson's worth more dead than alive. People wanted him dead.
He was afraid. Something's not right. Michael told me that they were going to murder him.
From what I'm hearing, there are those who think Puffy low-key had a hand in taking out the King of Pop to protect his own dirty dealings. See, there are claims floating around that Diddy has basically been the Epstein of the music industry for decades now. Just like that sick predator, he's allegedly been running a huge sexual blackmail operation, trapping artists and celebs by recording them in compromising situations at his parties. The kicker? Apparently some of Diddy's mansions were completely wired up with hidden cameras in every single room to get that incriminating footage. Those events were even sponsored by the head honchos at major record labels too, so you just know there's some bigwigs wrapped up in this nasty mess. But here's where MJ comes back into the picture. Word on the street is that Diddy has been a longtime FBI informant, sort of like how Epstein was believed to be an informant for certain government agencies. His role was allegedly to entrap all these powerful people on camera and then use that evidence as a way to blackmail or control them. It's a diabolical setup when you really think about it. Diddy portrays himself as this wealthy, respected mogul in the industry, but behind the scenes, he's allegedly getting those same celebs and influencers twisted up in his sex cult of drugs, orgies, and God knows what other depravities, all while recording every nasty second of it without their knowledge. Then once they're firmly in his grasp, it's a simple power play of do what I say and keep your mouth shut, or else your wife, kids, and the whole world will see what a disgusting perv you really are. Shudder-worthy stuff for real.
Savage! I'm a savage! Oh! I'm a savage! Whatever I want, I'm going to get! Whatever I want, I have to get!
When you connect those dots, it starts to make sense why MJ may have unfortunately gotten caught in Diddy's web too at some point. We all know Michael was one of the biggest superstars of all time, so he probably checked a lot of boxes for Puffy's alleged operation. What if the King of Pop ended up finding out too much about Diddy's shady activities and was about to go public with everything he knew? For a man who was already so paranoid about the industry trying to take him down, surely learning about an elite PDF ring would have been the final straw for Michael. So if we're really nasty hypotheticals angles here, Diddy could have seen MJ as a major liability that needed to be permanently dealt with before he could expose the whole twisted operation. With his FBI ties and Fahim's alleged criminal cover-up skills, neutralizing a threat like Michael may have unfortunately been the end game. I know this is sounding straight out of a movie plot at this point. But then again, we've seen how these wealthy sickos really do operate thanks to the Epstein case. Is it really that far-fetched to imagine Diddy being just as corrupt and capable of taking out Michael Jackson to save himself? The tea is getting frighteningly dark over here. Now, from what I've been reading, there's already proof out there showing just how far Diddy was willing to go to keep his operation under wraps. So, there's hotel surveillance footage from a few years back of him violently attacking his ex-girlfriend Cassie that only recently got leaked. The crazy part, Cassie claims in her lawsuit that Diddy was the one who originally obtained that damning footage by paying the hotel a $50,000 bribe to hand it over and keep it hushed up. Can you imagine having that kind of money to make a brutal assault just disappear like it never happened? Yo, I don't know about y'all, but this is starting to look like some full-on criminal enterprise type of activities Diddy has been presiding over here. Between the SA, extreme violence, cover-ups, this isn't just your typical music mogul doing regular hustler things anymore. This is some downright diabolical supervillain level corruption if these allegations are all true. And wait, there's more. Let's switch gears for a minute and talk about how all this nasty Diddy drama is starting to bleed over into beefs with other huge stars in the industry. I'm talking about those wild accusations Drake and Kendrick Lamar have been slinging at each other in recent diss tracks. Now, we all know Drizzy and K-Dot are two of the biggest rappers on the planet right now. So when they start going at each other's throats on the internet, you already know it's going to set the whole world ablaze with controversy and speculation. This time around, however, the disses seemingly had way deeper ties to Puffy's nasty allegations. From what I could gather, there were claims of PDF, DV, secret children, the whole 9 yards getting thrown into this heated exchange. Kendrick was apparently accusing Drake of covering for industry bigwigs like Diddy, who have been exposed for their inappropriate behavior with underage girls. Meanwhile, Drake was fired back by alleging K-Dot has his own hidden scandals involving being abusive to women on the low. Messy doesn't even begin to describe the kind of mud these two hip-hop titans were slinging. The entire situation feels like a peek behind the curtain at how dark and depraved things can really get for celebrities at the highest levels once they get entangled with the wrong powerful people. But here's where it started to connect back to the diddler. There were folks out there alleging that the real reason this Drake versus Kendrick feud boiled over in 2024 was because it's apparently the year that all the industry's biggest secret keepers, like Diddy, were finally getting exposed for their unforgivable crimes against women and children. Yo, remember when comedian Cat Williams made that wild claim a while back about how 2024 would be the year where all celebrity misdeeds finally saw the light of day? Well, this whole explosion between the two rap giants makes you wonder if he really was tapped into some insider knowledge after all. It seems like with Puffy being the first major domino to fall, now a whole bunch of other big names are going to get pulled into the mess as they start turning on each other to deflect blame or save their own hides. My money's on Drake being the next celeb caught in the fiery controversy once the public gets wind of what he's allegedly been covering up too. And can we just pause for a moment to go back to those claims about Diddy having all kinds of footage from his hotel room cameras of celebrities in uncompromising situations? Because if even half of that is true, it means Puffy likely has a whole vault of receipts to either verify or denounce any rumors about his powerful friend's extracurricular activities. Just imagine the kind of grenades Diddy could potentially throw at his rap proteges or fellow musical elites if he felt backed into a corner legally and decided to take an "if I'm going down, I'm taking everyone with me" approach. We could seriously see the entire music industry crumbling like a house of cards from the shockwaves. At this point, none of these wealthy folks are safe if Diddy's multi-billion-dollar extortion ring was really filming their every indiscretion for decades on end. It's about to be a cold winter of chaos and turmoil as the humble pie gets passed around to everybody who participated in the alleged festivities. With each passing day, more sickening allegations continue to spill out about the true depths of Diddy's alleged crimes and misdeeds. What initially started as whispers of a high-level sex cult have quickly spiraled into a full-blown criminal conspiracy, potentially involving everything from sexual exploitation to cold-blooded murder. Let's start with the relatively tame stuff. Well, as tame as anything involving minors can be. There are rumblings that Puffy was basically operating as a pimped-out version of Jeffrey Epstein, luring young artists and vulnerable entertainers to his events with the promise of making it big. But in reality, he was just preying on their ambitions so he could ensnare them in his web of drugs, alcohol, and very likely sexual favors. The word on these streets is that major record labels like Bad Boy's parents at Universal and Motown were actually sponsoring and encouraging these depraved shindigs behind the scenes. Can you imagine the sinking feeling of being a bright-eyed kid chasing your dreams, only to end up coerced into compromising situations by industry heavyweights you're taught to idolize? But as shocking as those claims are, they might just be the tip of the iceberg compared to the heinous criminal acts Diddy is being accused of to keep his alleged enterprise afloat. We're talking full-fledged mob-level cover-ups of serious violence and even murder. There are multiple reports and first-hand accounts detailing how Puffy's shady head of security, Fahim Muhammad, has essentially been the Diddy version of a hitman and criminal fixer whenever situations went too far off the rails. From that recording studio shooting getting swept under the rug to his mysterious involvement with Michael Jackson's death, wherever this Muhammad guy pops up, it seems to spell bad news. At this point, I don't think there's a line Diddy and his henchmen wouldn't have crossed to both enable their wildest depravities and literally bury anyone who dared get in their way. Whether you buy the MJ assassination theory or not, there's no denying Mr. Combs was allegedly presiding over some sort of high-level, extraordinarily reckless, and damaging criminal enterprise disguised as a record label and media empire. Whew, y'all, that was a whole lot to unpack, wasn't it? I tried to lay out all the juiciest details surrounding Diddy's alleged crimes in the most digestible way possible, but I know there's still going to be questions and different perspectives out there. That's why I want to hear from you, wonderful people in the comments. What are your biggest takeaways and reactions to all this explosive Puffy tea being spilled? Do you buy into the theories about his involvement with Michael Jackson's death, or nah? Are you just as shook as me about the allegations of PDF, SA, and alleged extortion at the highest levels of the industry? Or maybe you've even got some inside intel of your own that can add another layer to this already twisted saga? Listen, whether you're a diehard Diddy defender or among those ready to tar and feather him, I need to hear those hot takes. So don't be shy, drop those comments down below, and let's get a real discussion brewing about how deep this criminal rabbit hole truly goes. Let's analyze, theorize, and hopefully get to the bottom of what really went down with Mr. Combs and his bad boy enterprise. And while you're down there leaving those fire comments, be sure to show your boy some love too. Smash that like button to boost the view count and make sure this story gets the traction it deserves. You know I'll be keeping my eyes peeled for any and all developing updates to hit you with in future videos. And don't forget to turn on all notifications by ringing that bell icon so you get pinged the second a new video comes out. Whether it's eyewitness accounts, unredacted legal documents, or even whistleblower confessions, I'll be sure to bring that scalding hot tea directly to you as soon as it's brewed. Trust me, you're going to want to be among the first to know when new info or evidence surfaces about Diddy's shady dealings with the entertainment elite. In the meantime, I need you all to stay locked in and keep flooding the comments with your wildest theories, hottest takes, and any credible leads you might have.